Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Red Dead Redemption 2 video, I'm going to be telling you guys about 10 tips and tricks you need to know, and some things you might not have known you could do in RDR2 either. So anyways, let's jump into this and let's get it started. Our first tip today: if you hitch your horse at a horse station, you'll actually have access to instantly spawn all of your other horses. So this is incredibly convenient. Now, it doesn't have all the abilities of a stable. Like, you obviously can't buy horses, and you can't, change the features about them, nor can you buy provisions like horse meal or anything like that. But you can get your other horses out. And if you're a high level like me, who's, almost at the end of the game, where the 4 horses you own are pretty much the ones you're set on, you're not going to be buying or storing anymore, then this is incredibly convenient, because anytime I want to get, one specific horse out for a task, or, I want to, try and get a higher bonding level with this horse, you can easily switch them out. And you don't have to go to a stable, which are typically only located in towns and might not be readily accessible. So if you find a horse station like this, which are pretty easy to find, then you can instantly spawn sort of a new horse, or at least another horse that you own that is in your stable without having to go to one. So that right there is incredibly convenient. Tip number 2 today: if you're in combat with another individual, you can actually throw them or grapple them in a certain direction that you want, which can actually be pretty useful. Like, for example, if you're trying to throw someone through a window in a saloon, you can actually determine the direction in which you throw them. So if you decide to grapple someone, you just basically have to use X and the left thumbstick in order to direction your throw. So if you want to throw someone to the left, you flick it to the left. If you want to throw them straight forward, you push it forward. To the right, to the right. It's pretty simple. So I found this to be pretty cool. It's not exactly practical when you're fighting a lawman per se, but for something like a bar fight, it could be pretty fun to throw someone through a window or out a door. And a lot of you guys have been wondering how to do that. It's directional, just like a lot of the other things in this game. The left stick, even though it might not tell you, will determine the direction of your actions. Tip number 3 today: did you know that you can actually kick and melee on a horse? So if you're on PlayStation, this is going to be using the circle button, and this is kind of cool. So if you find a passerby, you can actually kick them, or you can punch them and knock them off. It is kind of cool. You can sort of have like jousting battles on horses. Now, if you have like a melee weapon out, like a sword or an axe, then you'll swing that normally with the right trigger. But if you are unarmed, you can just sort of do like a drive-by kicking motion, which is kind of interesting. I wonder how effective this would actually be. I'm honestly not too sure if it would even be safe for you to do if you were going at high speeds. Like, would you lose your leg or your arm if you impacted someone? So I don't know how that would work in real life, but in game it's kind of effective, as you're able to sort of hit people on the run. So that right there is tip number 3. Tip number 4 today is something I had never noticed before. When you are hidden, the cursor on the minimap will actually turn gray. So this is convenient, because this will give you a better idea of how hidden you are to enemies and lawmen that might be in the area. So take a look at the minimap right now. The second I start crouching and the second I go into this bush right here, my minimap icon turns gray. However, the second I get up and start walking and wandering around, it turns white again, which would indicate to the game and the other players and NPCs that I am no longer hidden. So that is kind of cool. Now, you can remain hidden if you crouch and softly walk or jog. However, the second you start to sprint or go into like the middle of the road, for example, it will begin to turn white. And you can also see the second that I decide to come out of crouch and sort of go up into a normal stance, that is when the game ultimately says that I am visible to other NPCs. So that's really cool. Now you have a surefire way to tell if you are hidden from other people, and if others will be able to notice you in Red Dead Redemption 2. Tip number 5 today: I'm going to be showing you guys how to get the ultimate best secret horse in the game. I'm just kidding, but it is actually something that's really cool, and it is an animal that you can ride that you might not have known about, and that is a donkey. Yes, you can ride and own a donkey in Red Dead Redemption 2. So what you want to do is you want to go to this place. It's actually called Walton's Cabin. It's a little bit north of Strawberry. Now, if you've never visited this place before, it's going to be a little cabin, and it's also going to have like a little farm area off to the left. And in front of that little farm area, you should see a donkey with like a saddle on it and everything that you can actually ride. And if you get on, your compendium will actually update. You can see standard donkey, and it's funny because it has stats. So look at this thing. Its health core is all the way 0. So apparently this thing is like not getting fed or something by its owner. Its stamina core, you can see, is full, but look at its like stamina bar. Its stamina bar and health bar are like both at 1. This is like the worst possible thing that you could ride in game. Look how ridiculous it looks. I mean, Arthur's legs almost touch the ground. What's funny is you can feed this thing like horse meal and stuff, but it doesn't improve it at all. So its stats don't get any better, but it is like the smallest little mini horse in the game that you can ride. I mean, Arabians are small horses, but compare that to this donkey, and it is just ridiculously tiny. So I don't think this is one you could keep. We actually go back to the first tip I talked about, how you have horse stations. You can save this at a horse station, and it'll be available for you to use over and over and over again. But I'm not sure why you would. It would literally take you ages to get around the map on this thing. But for whatever reason, if you want to ride a donkey, you can, and it can be found up at Walton's Cabin. In a previous tip and trick video, I told you guys how you could reverse wagons by holding down R1. You can actually reverse on your horse. It's just a little bit different. So what you need to do is tap R1, and then you need to tap R1 again, but hold it. So basically the sequence is R1, R1, but then hold it. And if you do that, your horse will go backwards, which is kind of cool. There's been a lot of scenarios where I've gotten, wedged between rocks, or I maybe missed my turn, or, I'm in an awkward situation and it would be way easier to reverse my horse, but I've never known how to do that. But now I do. You have to double tap R, but you have to tap the first one and then you have to hold down the second one. And doing that will get your horse to go in reverse. Tip number 7 today. Did you know it's possible to like curb stomp someone of sorts? So if you actually beat someone up, you actually don't kill them. You just knock them out. Well, following that, you can actually proceed to follow that up and kill them. And you can do so by sort of like curb stomping them into the ground, which is kind of brutal. I didn't even know there was an option to do something like that in the game. Now, doing so will earn you more dishonorable points than just knocking someone out. So if that's something you're going for, you might not necessarily want to do this, but it's just cool because it's Rockstar thinking of more ways in which you can sort of finish off an enemy in Red Dead Redemption 2. I feel like there's so many different ways for so many different scenarios, terrains, places where you are. The level of detail in this game is just absolutely incredible. Number 8 today. So a couple of tips with dynamite or just big explosives in general. Number 1, don't go hunting with it. I know this tip sounds obvious, but if you actually hunt with something explosive or volatile like this, there's a good chance you won't be able to skin the animal. Even if you're going for something as simple as poor pelts, it'll just simply not allow you to interact with it. However, if you do not have a fishing pole for whatever reason, dynamite might be an effective solution for catching fish. Again, I really wouldn't recommend it, but at least at a minimum, it does work. Tip number 9 today, for whatever reason, if you're in Annesburg and you want to rent yourself a bath and hotel room, you'd think that it would be at like a hotel or a saloon. Wrong. The answer is at the gunsmith. For whatever reason, you have to go to the Annesburg gunsmith in order to get lodging, like a room and a bath. Once again, I'm not sure why this is the case. Why don't they just open the house to the left that you have to go into eventually? But for whatever reason, they decided that the gunsmith would be the best place in order to order a hotel room and a bath. Again, I really don't understand that logic there, but that's sort of what Rockstar has done. And last but not least today, at the number 10 spot, did you know you can actually get kicked out of people's tents? So for example, if you stay in Dutch's tent too long or you bother him inside of his tent, he will literally kick you out. Like, he will physically shove you out of the tent, which I didn't even know. Again, this goes to the level of detail from Rockstar here. They literally thought of everything and every situation. I guess it does make sense. Like, if someone's bothering your personal space, you wouldn't want them doing that. Now, you're not going to lose honor points for doing anything like this, and you won't be less favorable in the gang, but it is just another cool cutscene that you can observe and see happen in Red Dead Redemption 2. But anyways, that's all the tips and tricks that I've got for you guys in this video today. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you have any more tips or tricks that you think I might not have known about that are helpful or cool, let us know in the comments down below. We'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.